My boyfriend of 1 year had a secret family 200 miles away. His girlfriend and I discovered he'd been playing us both and planned the ultimate revenge. I, 28F, still cannot believe I am writing this. My hands are shaking and my mind feels like it is in a fog. The past year of my life has been a complete lie, and I just found out in the most devastating way possible. I work as a marketing manager at a tech company and usually spent my lunch breaks at this cozy coffee shop downtown called Bean There. That is where I met Ron, 36M, last January. I remember that day so clearly now. It was raining, and the shop was more crowded than usual. I was lucky to find a small table near the window where I could work on my laptop during lunch. Ron sat at the table next to mine. He asked to borrow my charger because his laptop was dying and he had an important work call coming up. I noticed he was wearing a well-fitted suit and had such a warm, genuine smile. We started talking while waiting for his laptop to charge. He told me he was a business consultant who specialized in helping companies streamline their operations. The conversation just flowed so naturally. We ended up talking for almost 2 hours. I was late getting back to work, but I did not even care. Ron was charming, funny, and seemed so sincere. He told me about growing up in Seattle with his younger sister, moving here for work 5 years ago, and how he was looking to finally settle down. I opened up to him about my own family, my career goals, and my past relationships. When we finally exchanged numbers, I felt those butterflies in my stomach that I had not felt in years. Our first date was 3 days later. He took me to this amazing Italian restaurant and we talked until the staff started cleaning up around us. That set the pattern for our relationship: long conversations, lots of laughter, and what I thought was complete openness with each other. He would surprise me with my favorite coffee when I was having a rough day at work. He remembered tiny details about things I liked and disliked. He even learned to cook my mom's special pasta recipe because I mentioned missing it once. My best friend Sarah was skeptical at first. She thought the age gap might be an issue and wanted me to be careful. But even she was won over by Ron's charm. She told me a few months ago that she had never seen me so happy and that Ron seemed like he truly adored me. My other friends loved him too. He always remembered their names, asked about their lives, and made an effort to make everyone feel included when we hung out as a group. The only slightly unusual thing was his work schedule. He traveled frequently for consulting projects, usually 4 to 5 days every couple of weeks. But he always made up for his time away. He would plan special dates when he returned, like cooking dinner together or taking weekend trips to nearby towns. He would call and text regularly when away, telling me about his meetings or complaining about airport food. I never questioned it because everything else in our relationship felt so perfect. When he was in town, we spent most of our time together. I practically lived at his apartment on weekends. It was sparsely furnished, but he said that was because he traveled so much and had not gotten around to properly decorating. He talked about us picking out furniture together eventually. We had started discussing moving in together in the next few months. He seemed excited about building a future together. Ron met my parents when they visited 3 months ago. My dad is usually very protective, but even he was impressed. Ron knew exactly what to say and do. He brought my mom her favorite flowers and discussed golf with my dad for hours. They could not stop talking about what a wonderful man I had found. I felt so lucky. Then came today. I was at work when I got a call from an unknown number. The woman introduced herself as Rebecca and said she needed to talk to me about Ron. My first thought was maybe she was a colleague or client of his. But then she said the words that turned my world upside down: she was Ron's girlfriend of 9 years. I laughed at first. I told her she must have the wrong Ron. But then she started describing him: the small scar on his left hand from a childhood accident, the way he scrunches his nose when he laughs, his habit of drinking coffee with exactly 2 sugars. Still, I did not want to believe it. Then she sent me photos. Dozens of them. Recent ones. Including pictures of their 2-month-old baby girl. I felt like I could not breathe. Rebecca told me they had been together since college. She lives in another city about 200 miles away where she works as a teacher. She said they had maintained a long-distance relationship due to their careers but were completely committed to each other. They had decided to try for a baby during COVID but chose to continue living separately due to their work situations. The reality started crashing down on me. All those business trips Ron took? He was going to see Rebecca and their baby. Those long phone calls when he was away? He was probably sitting right next to her. The future we planned together? All lies. Even the apartment I spent so much time in was just his cover story. I had to leave work early. I could not stop shaking. Sarah came over immediately and has been with me all day. I have alternated between crying and feeling completely numb. How could I have been so blind? The signs were there. He never added me on social media claiming he was not into it. I never met any of his friends or family. He always planned our dates rather than letting me suggest places. Ron texted me an hour ago asking about meeting for dinner tomorrow. He has no idea that I know. I have not responded. What would I even say? How do you confront someone who has been living a double life? How do you look in the eye of someone you thought you knew completely but turned out to be a stranger? I keep replaying every moment of our relationship in my head. Was any of it real? Were all his sweet gestures and kind words just part of his act? Does he do this with other women too? How many lives is he juggling? I feel like such a fool for falling for his lies so completely. I gave this man my heart. I trusted him fully. I was planning a future with him. And all along he had another life I knew nothing about. He is about to be a father and he never said a word. I do not even recognize the person I thought I knew anymore. I could really use some advice. I do not know how to handle this. Should I confront him? Should I just disappear from his life? Should I tell everyone what he did? I feel completely lost and betrayed. How do you even begin to recover from something like this? Update 1. First, I want to thank everyone who commented and messaged me with support and advice. The past few days have felt like the longest of my life. I have barely slept or eaten, just trying to process everything. Your messages helped me feel less alone in this nightmare. After reading through all the comments, I decided to follow the suggestion many of you made, to meet with Rebecca before confronting Ron. I needed to know the full story and verify everything for myself. Sarah thought it might be dangerous to meet a stranger, so she came with me and sat at a nearby table just in case. Rebecca and I met yesterday at a small cafe far from my usual spots. I got there early and felt sick to my stomach waiting. When she walked in, I immediately recognized her from the photos. She looked exhausted, carrying her baby in a car seat. My heart started racing when I saw the baby. She had Ron's eyes and that same dimple in her left cheek when she smiled. There was no denying this was his child. Rebecca was surprisingly calm as she sat down. She seemed just as nervous as I was. The baby, Emma, slept peacefully throughout our conversation. Rebecca ordered tea but barely touched it as she shared their history. They met during junior year of college when they were paired for a group project. They dated all through college and stayed together even when their careers took them to different cities. She works as a high school English teacher and could not leave her job since she was on track for tenure. Ron supposedly supported her career goals and they made the long-distance work. She showed me their entire relationship history through photos and videos on her phone, holidays together, family gatherings, vacations. There were even photos from just 3 months ago of them celebrating Emma's arrival at the hospital. What made me feel physically ill was seeing photos of Ron holding newborn Emma, looking every bit the proud father, taken during the same week he was telling me he was at a business conference in Chicago. There were countless photos of him at Rebecca's place during times he told me he was traveling for work. Rebecca found out about me through her friend Jenny, who lives in my city. Jenny saw Ron and me having dinner at a restaurant last month. She took photos and sent them to Rebecca because something felt off about seeing her friend's boyfriend being so intimate with another woman. Rebecca had been quietly investigating for weeks before reaching out to me. The more we talked, the more the pieces fell into place. Rebecca showed me screenshots of Ron's flight bookings to visit her. They matched exactly with his business trips. She had their text conversations going back years, including recent ones where he was planning their future together. He had been telling her that his job required him to spend time in my city, which explained his long absences. We spent hours comparing stories and timelines. Every mysterious business trip, every unavailable evening, every missed call, it all lined up perfectly between our two relationships. He had orchestrated everything meticulously. When he was unavailable to me due to important client meetings, he was with Rebecca. When he told her he had late work nights, he was with me. Rebecca broke down when she showed me their baby registry from a few months ago. Ron had helped pick out everything: the crib, the stroller, the tiny clothes. He had been fully involved in planning for their baby while dating me. I felt physically sick realizing that all those times he was texting during our dates, claiming it was work, he was probably checking in with his pregnant girlfriend. My sadness turned to rage as we uncovered more of his deception. This was not a mistake or a confused man torn between two women. This was calculated, deliberate manipulation. He maintained 2 separate lives with military precision. He never mixed up details or slipped up once in an entire year. The final straw was when Rebecca showed me messages from just yesterday, Ron telling her he missed her and Emma, making plans for the weekend, talking about their future together. The same day he texted me about having dinner tomorrow. Rebecca and I spent the last hour of our meeting planning how to confront him. We are done being manipulated. We have copies of all the evidence, photos, messages, flight records, everything. We are meeting again tomorrow to finalize our plan. After seeing all the evidence and meeting Rebecca, I know we need to confront him together. He needs to face both of us at once so he cannot lie his way out of this. I feel strangely calm now, probably because my shock has turned to anger. Seeing that innocent baby made everything so much worse. How could he start a relationship with me when his girlfriend was pregnant with their planned child? What kind of person does that? Rebecca and I both deserve answers and he is going to give them to us. No more lies, no more manipulation. We are taking control of this situation. Update 2. The confrontation happened last night, and I am still processing everything that went down. Rebecca and I had planned every detail carefully. I invited Ron over for dinner at my place, telling him I wanted to cook him a special meal. He responded enthusiastically, even offering to bring wine. I spent the afternoon cooking his favorite pasta dish, the one he claimed his mom used to make. Rebecca was parked down the street, waiting for my signal. Sarah was also nearby in her car, ready to step in if needed, though we hoped it would not come to that. Ron showed up at 7 p.m. sharp, dressed nicely and carrying flowers along with the wine. He acted completely normal, kissing me hello, complimenting the smell of dinner, chatting about his supposed workday. He even had the nerve to show me photos on his phone of a client meeting that morning, a meeting I now knew never happened because he had been with Rebecca and Emma at their pediatrician appointment. We sat down to eat and he kept up the act, talking about plans for the weekend and asking about my day. I felt sick watching him lie so effortlessly. Halfway through dinner, right as he was telling me about his upcoming business trip next week, the doorbell rang. The look on Ron's face when he opened the door and saw Rebecca standing there with Emma in her arms, I will never forget it. All the color drained from his face. For the first time since I had known him, he was completely speechless. He kept looking back and forth between us, his mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Rebecca walked in calmly and placed Emma's car seat on the couch. Ron started stammering, trying to form words but nothing coherent came out. I cleared the dinner plates from the table and instead, we laid out all our evidence, photos, messages, flight records, everything organized by date. A year's worth of lies spread out in black and white. Ron tried denying it at first, if you can believe it. He actually attempted to claim Rebecca was just a friend and that there had been a misunderstanding. But his excuses died in his throat when Rebecca started playing videos from her phone, videos of him with Emma at the hospital, videos of them together at Christmas, videos from just last week. When he realized he could not deny it anymore, he switched tactics. He started apologizing profusely, saying he never meant for any of this to happen. He claimed he had fallen in love with both of us and did not know how to handle it. The more he talked, the more pathetic his excuses sounded. Then came the most shocking part. He turned to me and actually tried to convince me that I was the one he truly loved now and wanted to be with. He told Rebecca he would always care for her and support Emma, but their relationship had run its course. He had the audacity to say all this while his 2-month-old daughter slept peacefully a few feet away. Rebecca remained remarkably composed. She told him her lawyer would be contacting him about child support and custody arrangements. She picked up Emma and walked out, telling him not to contact her except through her attorney. I waited until Rebecca left before unleashing everything I had held back. I told him exactly what I thought of him and his lies. He tried to interrupt, to explain, to justify, but I did not let him. A year of deception came pouring out of me. When I finished, I told him to get out and never contact me again. After he left, I sent a message to everyone in my contacts who knew him, exposing his double life. I did not want him to be able to do this to anyone else. Then I packed up everything he had ever given me into boxes and drove to his apartment. I left it all outside his door, the gifts, the love letters, the framed photos, everything. Sarah came over afterwards and helped me clean my apartment of any trace of him. We opened the wine he brought and poured it down the drain. It felt symbolic somehow. Update 3. Life has slowly started feeling normal again, though there are still moments when everything hits me all over again. The support from this community has been incredible, and I wanted to give you all a final update on the situation. Rebecca and I have surprisingly become close friends through this mess. We meet for coffee every couple of weeks when she drives into the city for Emma's pediatrician appointments. It is both healing and strange to build a friendship with someone under these circumstances, but we understand each other in a way nobody else can. The child support case is proceeding, though Ron is not making it easy. Rebecca's lawyer found bank accounts he had hidden and evidence of significant savings he never disclosed. The lawyer also discovered something that made my blood run cold. There was another woman 2 years ago in another city who Ron had dated for 8 months while with Rebecca. His pattern of deception goes back further than we thought. Ron tried reaching out multiple times in the weeks following our confrontation. He left voicemails claiming he could explain everything. He sent emails begging for another chance. He even showed up at my workplace one day with flowers, but security had already been warned about him and escorted him out. I have blocked him everywhere, but he keeps finding new ways to contact me. Through mutual friends, I heard he has been telling a different version of events to anyone who will listen. According to him, I blew everything out of proportion and he was planning to end things with Rebecca anyway. He is painting himself as the victim, claiming he was trapped in a loveless relationship and just trying to find happiness. Some people actually believe him, which is infuriating. Sarah ran into him at a local bar last week. She said he was with a woman who looked to be in her mid-20s. It made me sick to think he might already be working on his next victim. I posted about his double life in some local Facebook groups to warn others, even though he threatened legal action if I did not take the posts down. I left them up. Rebecca's lawyer is building a strong case. They found evidence that Ron has been transferring money to a secret account for years. He also lied about his income on Emma's child support paperwork. The lawyer thinks they can prove he has been deliberately hiding assets to avoid paying fair support. The hardest part has been dealing with mutual friends who think we should all just move past this. Some have suggested that Rebecca and I are being too harsh, that people make mistakes. These are mostly the same friends who thought Ron was the perfect guy. I have distanced myself from anyone who tried to defend his actions. My mom calls regularly to check on me. She blames herself for not seeing through Ron's act when she met him. I keep telling her that he fooled everyone. Even my dad, who prides himself on being a good judge of character, was completely taken in by Ron's performance. Work has been a good distraction. My boss has been understanding about everything, especially after Ron's scene at the office. I took on a big new project that keeps me busy and focused on something other than this mess. I am not ready to date again, and honestly, I am not sure when I will be. But I refuse to let Ron's actions destroy my ability to trust people. Rebecca and I both deserve better, and we are moving forward with our lives. She is an amazing mother to Emma, and watching her strength in handling everything has been inspiring. Sometimes I look back at photos from my year with Ron and it feels like looking at a stranger. His whole nice guy persona was just a carefully crafted act, practiced and perfected over years of manipulating women. At least now we know the truth, and he cannot hurt us anymore.